any shape or form.
There are fears a simple soccer match, like the one organised by James Cott, could be broken up by police if one of the players happened to have a criminal record.
They're referencing the Bible.
Really. Let's say I'm walking alone and people start gangs.
But they're trying to talk to Andy as
are
well.
at risk of becoming disengaged.
Because at the moment he's raising a child.
Couple of them, man.
James says the political and media commentary involving his community has seen him personally targeted.
I was running and a group of young people in the cars, we call them whites. They stopped the car and they start calling me some names, like go back to your countries, you black gangs, you know. They stopped the car.
So you know the movie where both of them are in there and they're making fun of me.
Like if I had anything, I would really hate someone, but you know, because they drove up, that just pissed me off a lot and it wasn't fair.
So that made you angry?
Yes, super angry.
You have a lot of young people who are growing up in Australia and picking up the Australian culture, which put a lot of the community leaders and elders at disadvantage because they do not understand, completely don't understand their culture and their upbringing. And the same thing with the mainstream society, who expect a young person with two different cultural identities to be of one culture.
Put some Legos everywhere.
These young kids are growing with what you would call a third culture.
Our drive's big enough.
We fight because we do believe that we are part of this community.
Lawyer Nidal Nguyen is one of those who are fighting to stop the South Sudanese community from failing.
When you ask the question whether will we fail, I'm afraid that it feels like we are. There have been a handful of suicides across the African communities. Suicide is a complex thing, so I don't think one can ever really point to one issue and say, this is it. But one wonders whether the current climate plays a part. I know a lot of us are concerned about it because we've noticed actually a trend, a disturbing trend.
Survival for a community with typically high unemployment is being fought brick by brick here at Victoria University.
Is there much work going for new brickies like you?
Yeah, like a lot, because there's new areas coming along.
Atem and Noor are newly qualified as bricklayers and have already filled jobs in an industry with labour shortages.
At the end of the day, it's what's in the heart that counts, nothing else.
And are bricks in your heart?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, you're like, it depends what kind of building I see.
Unemployment is just one of the problems in this community which doesn't always get attention.
We know we've got an issue with a small group of people, but let's not blow that out of proportion.
People think that trauma comes from war-torn country. No, trauma comes from environmental factors.
Some days I'm torn between a sense of loss and some days, you know, I feel very hopeful.
Andy Park reporting there. Let's take a look at what's making headlines in tomorrow's papers. The Sydney Morning Herald says a national deal on energy security is hanging by a thread as Labor state governments issue new demands challenging the Turnbull government to redraft its national energy guarantee. The Australian reports that compensation banks are preparing to pay for fees they charged customers for services never provided is racing towards $1 billion. And the Courier Mail has discovered Brisbane households spend almost $20,000 a year travelling around the River City, making it the most expensive commute in the country. And the Herald Sun pictures Eagles star Andrew Gaff, who, as we reported earlier, copped an 8-game ban for punching Andrew Brayshaw and breaking his jaw.
Size of his cock.
Well, the Andrew Gaff incident has renewed calls for the AFL to introduce a send-off rule, but while it's commonplace in most sports, CEO Gillan McLaughlin
So although it's about gaffer tape in order for him to shut his fucking yap,
The AFL is one of the few
it's actually
major
about
sporting
BanHitty
competitions in the
Rob
world without a send-off rule.
to get that
But when
dickhead
Andrew
to
Gaff
shut the
broke
fuck
the jaw
up.
of Andrew Brayshaw, the issue was once again placed on the agenda, despite the reluctance
There
of
he
league
is.
headquarters.
And I think our system generally works very well. For one or two incidents
They
a year,
use
I think
lock.
the deterrent is clearly there. We don't see that stuff much in our game anymore.
But not everyone agrees with the CEO.
I'm staggered in Gill. I know he's had his head in the sand on this particular issue for a long, long time.
Sydney Premiership coach Paul Roos has long been against a send-off rule in the AFL, but this latest incident has forced him to change his mind.
If we're talking about a red card, I can't mount an argument against it now.
All major professional football competitions in Australia, such as the A-League, NRL and Super Rugby, have a send-off rule, and it's used at the lower levels of Australian football in state and amateur competitions. The West Australian
36
Football
is a
League has a red
numerology
card, but it's
constraint.
only been used 3 times. The
So it's
last
15,
was 2004.
40, 25.
In Tasmania, it's also been
Digital
used
for 10,
sparingly in the lower
23
levels
as in
of
digital,
competition.
9.
We've had it in for a number of years now, but and I don't know of any instances over the last 2 years. And I spoke to the umpires and confirmed that this afternoon.
While the laws of Australian football exempt the AFL, all other competitions are required to have an order-off rule. Clint Thomas, ABC News.
The Penrith Panthers are looking for a new coach after Anthony Griffin was sent packing yesterday. The name being touted as the favoured replacement is Ivan Cleary, who was himself dumped by the club 3 years ago.
It's a merry-go-round that's left fans dizzy. Just 4 weeks out from the finals, the Panthers have sacked coach Anthony Griffin, the man brought in to replace the last coach they sacked.
Anthony's very old school. He likes to do everything himself.
Penrith's boss Phil Gould says he and Griffin had different ideas on the game.
It's probably something we were managing for 12 months anyway.
Can't stand working with other people.
To him as we could, but he was in his own way determined to do things his way.
He didn't lose my support, so, you know, I had no issue. The whole thing has sort of been kept away from the players.
Sacking a coach isn't a rare event at Penrith. Gould has shown 3 coaches the door since 2011.
I feel for Anthony right at the moment.
I've been through that experience and I know how isolating that can
I
feel.
want a fucking mural the size of the Eureka fucking tower stating Charles Ellisitz does not have schizophrenia or any fucking other bullshit that you want to fucking state. What it is we can play with his doodle at night and we thought he'd be happy about it.
The Tigers have confirmed Cleary has spoken with Penrith, but are confident he won't seek a release. Round and round they go. Jennifer Browning, ABC News.
Nobody knows.
The boss of the AFL
except for me, clear eye for the straight guy. Not kidding, Crown Casino.
Next year's home and away season.
Already mapped out the fucking route for it.
10 teams would play just 6 home and away rounds. The committee won't make a decision till next month, but AFLW Chief Nicole Livingston has stressed the importance of not having an overlap with other sports.
I would love to say that the metrics would suggest that we can go head-to-head with men and beat them, but I know our first round of the 2018 season, the Big Bash was into its semi-final. It rated 1.8 million.
The committee is still considering a range of options, including a conference format.
See, they're coming up with this shit that I'm like being punished. But I was punished before I was being punished. Because in the Truman Show it even fucking states it. Sorry son, you don't get to ride the fucking bus.
Showers across the southeast and thunderstorms with hail. Snow to about 1,200 metres in Victoria and New South Wales, down to about 800-900 metres.
And then the elders, what they do is they state, as they're raising their kids, not the other kids, they're not raising the Hindus or the Wogs or anything like that. They're actually fucking distributing our lives to their own kids and stating that that one's Santa Claus, that one's Santa Jr., that one's OzKo, get it? And they're teaching their kids to behave like them. And they get to a particular age and they get bored. They got nothing left to do at the end of the day.